So imagine you took Batman, and then you took away the money, the fame, the martial arts skills, the Batcave, the gadgets, hell, even the super detective skills, then dumped him into a hyper-industrial city in the 80s and told him to solve murders for cash. Do you think he would do it? Because that is essentially Shadows of Doubt. Apparently I'm a little late to the party, as this game dropped in early access like 3 months ago, but I just heard about it a couple weeks ago, so cut me some slack. I saw a couple videos and thought it looked like a fun time. I was so right. Shadows of Doubt is an early access immersive sim detect-em-up, where you assume a role as a freelance investigator because the city cops can't be bothered to do it. The main draw to me, and I guess everyone else, is the fully realized procedurally generated city. Stop. Wait. I know, procedural generation has been getting a bad rap lately for lazy games, but this is not one of those games. Every city you generate is a complete, functioning, fully explorable city. Every building, every apartment, every workplace, everywhere. You can just go in them, though not necessarily legally. Turns out, people don't really like it when you just barge into their apartment at 1 a.m. looking to steal their hard-earned money. Also, it is immensely frowned upon to enter employee-only areas, especially if all you want to do is throw a bowl of noodles at their sous chef. I've been punched, kicked, and shot by all manners of citizen for a simple crime of just throwing a cola at them. Talk about thin-skinned. And that isn't even the worst part. There are cameras, and even worse, literal automatic gun turrets everywhere. So if you break into an apartment and the occupant decides to, say, get security, you'll just get gunned down by a robot the moment you step foot outside. That said, everyone and everything seems to have a bad case of short-term amnesia, because if you leave the area for like 10 minutes, you can just go back with no repercussions and nobody seems to remember that you forced your way into some couple's apartment and beat the two of them senseless. Look, I know that sounds bad, but one of them turned out to be the murderer I was looking for, so maybe think about that the next time you judge, huh? The thing is, I keep forgetting to do the actual detective stuff because I keep getting distracted by all the other little things you can do. When I was doing the tutorial, the first thing I did was tear the starting apartment to pieces, take an entire bottle of painkillers, immediately harass my neighbors for spare change, then threw a trash can at some rando and got gunned down in the street. It took me like 30 minutes to actually start on the tutorial case because I was just having too much fun. Just like the city, the people in it are wonderfully interconnected and quite sophisticated. Every person has a set home, workplace, schedule, marital status, you name it. Even down to blood types and fingerprints, which come in handy with investigating. There is so much going on and so much to do, it is almost overwhelming at times. Let me paint you a picture. I accepted a job to find a prop gun that was stolen from the client's apartment. My client was angry, and rightfully so. To her, it seemed priceless, a relic of a better time. So much so, she wished for me to vandalize the thief's apartment in revenge before I caught them. I had nothing to work off of except a couple faded fingerprints and the knowledge that the thief had to be someone close to my client. I borrowed her address book and went suspect by suspect, non-consensually taking their fingerprints and occasionally sneaking into their homes. I was getting close to cracking this case wide open. Then I got stuck in a closet and had to reload a save before I did all that. Remember to save frequently, especially in early access games. There's a massive variety of these side jobs, ranging from theft investigation, to public humiliation. Remember what I said earlier about throwing noodles at a sous chef? Yeah, I was actually paid to do that. And you're not doing these for nothing. You get paid in credits, or crows as the slang term, and you can use those to buy food and drink, healing items, cybernetic upgrades. Did I mention the cybernetics? Yeah, Shadows of Doubt has a flavor of the cyberpunk genre in there too, though I haven't played around with it much because I spent too much time getting drunk and playing with the debuffs that occur. Oh my god, it like throws off my walking ability. I'm literally just holding W. Also, you can buy, furnish, and decorate apartments. In fact, normally you kinda start homeless, so you need to rush a few odd jobs to scrounge up the money for the apartment. I'm not certain on this, but I think the higher quality apartments you can get more customization, but that's mostly speculation on my part. The other reason to do jobs is to gain social credit. The tooltip says that if you reach max level, you get to retire and therefore go to the fields, a supposedly luxury retirement resort. I don't trust it, but what can you do? I believe this is the goal of the game, do jobs and climb the ladder so you don't have to work anymore. Sounds familiar. I imagine the higher social credit may make the other people trust you more too. Right now, it's a bit of a struggle to get anyone to tell me their name, let alone allow me to get their fingerprints or even ask if they saw anyone suspicious. Not to mention the game is really pretty. It's a voxel-based style, which I know is polarizing at times, but it looks really nice. I think that can be attributed to the lighting. I feel like a lot of the times when people talk about graphics not looking great, it is usually a function of poorly mapped lighting or bad color grading. Because it is a detective game, you need some way to gather and sort your evidence, notes, and people of interest, and that is where the pin board comes in. Any data you pick up can be selected and pinned to this board and connected together through the hilariously cliché red yarn, though you can use different colors. You can also make and pin sticky notes for supplemental evidence that doesn't automatically get placed in the board. It is very satisfying to connect the dots through the board and figure out your murderer through sheer deduction and evidence analysis. The game doesn't hold your hand. You can input directions to certain buildings if you need, and it reminds you of the goals of whatever case you're doing, but that's about it. Everything else is up to you, the player. You have total freedom over how you conduct your investigations, given you don't get shot to death. Though, this is an early access game, so there are some issues that I'm going to talk about now. Despite the low poly voxel art style, the game can run into some performance hitches. I'm running with the Ryzen 9 in a 3060, and I had some lag spikes walking around the city. It's nothing terrible, but it is there, so be aware. Sometimes when you're combing through the city directory for directions to a building, you'll get pointed elsewhere and there's no way to select the correct one. But I discovered you can use the map to set custom waypoints, which you can use to get around that. The interactions with the NPCs honestly could use a bit of work too. I was trying to speak to one person that lived in an apartment, but their partner was the only one answering the door. I could ask if they knew the person I was trying to talk to, but I couldn't ask to actually speak with that other person, which irked me a bit. It also seems very weird that I can get a guest pass to a place of business and just rifle through all the company drawers and computers, and nobody bats an eye, but most people refuse to tell me their name. It's little things, nothing game breaking, and there's usually a way around the issues that crop up. I for one am very interested to see where the devs take this game, and I also think that it would be a very fun stream game. Anyway, that's really all I have for you today. If you enjoyed, maybe show off that enjoyment a little bit and drop a like. Also, check out some of the other stuff I've made. There's a decent variety, and I'm always getting better, so maybe there'll be something more in the future too. But with that, I'll let you go. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.